Well, good morning. Welcome to Agape. If this is your first time, realize we're different. We're unique. We teach how to better self-love through conscious living. We're a combination of the teachings of love, of Zen, religious science, Christianity, the great mystics, Buddhism, Hinduism. Well, we teach as a practical way of living, and we honor all paths. There is no dogma. We teach practical spirituality, the discovering of your nature, who you are, and how you can best live and create a fulfilling life. The very foundation of our teaching is on the principles of meditation and that our minds create. How we use our minds is our choice. So, one of the hardest things for people to grasp when they find us is that we teach 100% personal responsibility, not for what happens to you, but how you react to what happens. So, before we get into today's message, let's go in and just be silent for a few moments and get ourselves centered. So, I invite you to come into a comfortable seated upright position. Your back is straight, your hands gently resting on your lap, eyes closed. And all awareness comes to your breath. Long, slow, deep inhale, and a long, slower, deep exhale. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And one more time, breathing in and breathing out. Now I want you to imagine, sense, and feel a beautiful warm light, a golden white light shining down from above and resting on the crown of your head. And the crown of your head, feeling that light, feels so relaxed. So now let that light move into your forehead, your temples, your eyes, your nose, your ears, your cheeks, your lips, your jaw, down the back of your head and into your neck. And feel your neck and head just totally relax. Now allow that energy to move down your shoulders into your arms, hands, and fingers. And now down your back. And now let it fill your chest and abdomen. And your whole upper body is now deeply and perfectly relaxed. Let that beautiful, warm, relaxing light move into your hips, your sacral area, down your right leg, knee, shin, calf, ankle, feet, and toes, down your left leg, knee, shin, calf, ankle, feet, and toes. So your whole body now is relaxed. As thoughts come in, see them as clouds just passing by. You're not attached to them. You're not going to analyze them. You're just going to witness. And notice who is in there, observing the body, observing the sensations in the body. Who is in there, observing the thoughts as they move by. This is your awareness. This is your consciousness. This is your soul. It's not attached to the body. It's not attached to the mind. It's not affected by the body. It's not affected by the mind. It is that higher expression of you, the one that is eternal, infinite, that's tapped into all that is. It's connected to everything. And so knowing that we are here centered with that all-knowing presence through our soul, what is it you desire to know? you can ask, whatever it is, how do I forgive? How do I express greater love? How can I find greater inner peace? How can I experience joy? How can I know that abundance is mine? Just ask, sit, and listen. Normally, Spirit, the divine within you, speaks with the very first thought you have. And if you had one, take it with you. If you didn't, be open to hearing it later. You've put a request in. You've asked a question. There will be an answer. You just have to be ready to hear it. So be ready. Feeling this great sense of relaxation that is oozing through our body and our mind, we give thanks for the ability to do that, to consciously choose to let go of the daily illusion and to settle into relaxation and an inner peace. And so now gently start to bring yourself back. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, your hands, move them, your shoulders. If you want to stretch, go right ahead and stretch. It's all good. So today, I want to talk about trusting life's perfect timing. It seems that we're pretty darn anxious, aren't we? So one of the questions I want to ask is, how often do we ask, why isn't this happening for me? Do you ever do that? I know I do. Why isn't this happening? Why is it waiting so long? Why is it not mine now? Do you know what you're saying when you ask that question? You're saying, I don't have it. You're sending a clear-cut message to the universe that I lack something. The truth is, you don't lack anything. You're just not aware of that which you're seeking. So the question you might want to try to ask is, replacing frustration and curiosity, what is life preparing me for? That's a great question. And what would life prepare you for? Nothing but a greater expression and experience of life. You see, life is seeking to expand and know itself through you. It's seeking to expand and know itself through everyone. And it does that uniquely. No two people on the planet are the same. Everyone on the planet is unique. There has never been another one of you, or there never will be another one of you. In fact, right now, this moment, compared to last moment, you're not the same. You've changed. And that's true with all creation. So we get frustrated all the time when we ask the question, why isn't this happening for me? That's frustration. Instead, be curious. Be curious and ask, what is life preparing me for? So let's look at the nature of the flow of life, because that's what we're talking about. How does life flow? How does it flow through you, in you, as you, and how do you get into that flow? So, the nature of the flow of life. Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to define that. And the nature and the flow of life is simply aligning with the rhythm of the universe. There's a natural flow in the universe. Everything in the universe naturally flows. Nothing is forced. Nothing is blocked. There's always a perfect balance. You can see the nature of the flow of life by simply observing. Observing the cycles in nature, the seasons, the tides, the sunrise, the sunset. The cycle of the human body. Food comes in, food goes out. Breath comes in, breath goes out. Blood gets nourished, blood purifies. There's always a cycle going on. Relationships start, relationships end. Nothing is good or bad. There's always circulation. That's the flow of life. If you hoard money, money stops coming to you. There's a natural flow of money. There's a natural giving and receiving in life. You see, we've got this thing, and if you really start to observe it, we've got this resistance. And that resistance we've got is our ego. It desires to control, and it expects instantaneous results. Let me ask this. You've got an ego. You've tried to control. You've looked for instantaneous results. How's it working for you? Every day it's doing it for you? You got it mastered? Well, if you do, you're somewhere else in another planet, because I've never seen that happen. The ego is the false illusion. The key concept to remember about the nature and flow of life is surrender is trust. It is not defeat. Delays equal divine detours. The delay is only there because you're not ready to see the demonstration. You see, the great master taught, it is done unto you as you believe. So you're not going to get the demonstration until you truly believe. Not when you half believe, when you truly believe. That's when you see the demonstration. And what I've come to understand is the building of a belief takes time because we've got these habits of thinking. And that's what a belief is. A belief is a habit of thinking. And when we understand that, it makes life so much easier. Here's a little metaphor. The river only flows one way. I see people. They're trying to paddle that boat uphill. They're working 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week, trying to be abundant. And life is an absolute struggle. No, you go with the flow. Doesn't mean you don't work, but you go with the flow. You do what you love. You do what you love and you have a noble intention, a intention that is not greedy, that is not selfish. I know that whatever I bring in, I do give some of it back. I support others. I support causes. I understand that there's a flow in life, but at the same time, I'm a good steward. I want to make sure that the canoe I'm floating in the river has enough gear to take me on the trip as far as I need to go. But if you're paddling upstream, you're going to find a whole lot of people joining you. Then you got to ask the question, do I want the life that they're experiencing? Think about that. That's something I asked the question of when I was in the corporate world. I didn't see a lot of happy people. I saw a lot of people busting their butts, stressed beyond belief, not spending a lot of time with their families. I went the other way. I spent time with the family. I coached my sons through soccer. I didn't work 70, 80 hours a week. I would maybe work 45 to 50 at times. If you can't get your job done in a good 40 hours, got to ask, is it really the right job for me? And is it what I love to do? So the other thing is, people ask, I don't seem to be able to get anywhere. Well, doors close for a reason. I've lost 3 jobs in my life. I lost a job in 1974. I was working for Chrysler Corporation as a manager trainee, and the recession hit, and I lost that job. And then I found another job working at Allstate, and it was really a step up. It was a higher level position. It was more of a white collar, more of a vibrational match for me than working in an assembly plant as a foreman or a general foreman or as a superintendent. That lifestyle I found to be very toxic for me. It was not meant for me. So then I went into the insurance field. And then a door closed when I got let go from Crum and Forster in 1987. No, 1989. It was a toxic company. It had a toxic culture. I was let go. And guess what? I went 6 months without a job. Why? Because I had to adjust my nature. And then I found a job that was more suited to me with a better company, a company that I enjoyed working for. And then I did that for 13 years. And then I realized that being in the corporate world was no longer something that suited me. It wasn't what I was called to do. I realized I was called to be a teacher, a guide, a spiritual teacher and guide. So I lost that job. And then I started my education. And now I'm doing what I do and I love. And doors closed here. COVID hit. The larger community that I was building shrunk. I went worldwide. I went global. You're probably watching me that way. The doors closed for a reason. The reason was if it didn't close, I'd still be playing small. So I look at every door closing as an opportunity to expand and to grow. So, what kind of practice can we use to trust the timing for life or life's timing for us? Well, the first is cultivate patience, affirm faith, and know in life's unfolding. That's right. You've got to believe that life's unfolding. Look back at your life and see how it's unfolded, how it's brought to this spot. And then take action without controlling the outcomes. You cannot control other people. You cannot control circumstances. But what you can do is take action. Action in the direction of your dream. And here's something I want to say. When you're taking action, ask the question, is the action I'm taking benefit me and benefit others? If you're taking action with that in mind, good things are going to come to you. I promise. The other way to practice and trust life's timing is to embrace the moment. That's right, the moment. Focus on the now. Avoid regret about the past or anxiety about the future. And this is not easy. This is not easy at all to do. But you don't have much of a choice. If you try to live in the past, you're going to be miserable. If you think about living in the future, you're going to be anxious. The only time you're going to find true peace is when you're fully present in the now with no past and no future. Then you're in a great place. You're in the flow of life and life's timing is perfect. The next practice is gratitude. Gratitude for the process. Shift your focus from lack to abundance. Recognize that every experience that you take, no matter how you want to label it, it's a part of the journey. It's a journey of awakening. You see, that's what I've defined life as. Life is awakening to a more greater expression, a more greater. That's very good English, Lee. Sometimes I just muse the heck out of myself. To a more expansive life. I believe that we took on a body and a mind to experience as much life as we can while remaining aware that we're not the body and the mind, but we're having that great experience in it. For me, that gives me juice. That gives me pizzazz. I love living that life. So before we can go forward with that, I want to ask a question. Do you believe in a universal intelligence, a higher power, a higher consciousness, an organizing factor in the universe? If you want, call it God. But please, if you call it God, it's not a he, it's not a she. God does not have a sex. God is an it. And I think it created us out of itself because there was nothing else for us to be created out of. Creating itself, us, out of it means every particle of our being is God. It's part of God. And guess what? Our mind is a part of God's mind. Therefore, the infinite wisdom that created the universe is available to us. The very power to create is available to us on a microcosm. We create through the power of our thought. It's really critical to understand that. We create through the power of our thought. The master teacher, Jesus, said it is done unto you as you believe. What's a belief? A belief are your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your feelings aligned toward a specific result held persistently and consistently, consciously and unconsciously. If you want to know what you believe, look at your life. It'll tell you. It never lies. Eckhart Tolle said, life will give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. I love that. I absolutely love that. It is there. What are you evolving? To a greater awareness of your infinite nature. And in order to get there, you have to overcome the challenges of this life, the illusions that you're separate from all that is, the illusion that you're powerless, the illusion that some itty bitty circumstance really matters. Think about that. Remember when you were a teenager and you were going on a date and you had a big pimple on your nose and you thought it was the end of the world? In the meantime, the billions of stars in our own galaxy were surrounding us, and we thought a pimple was something to get upset about. Let's keep ourselves in proper perspective here. Life is going to give you whatever you need to help you evolve in your level of awareness. So let's think about some questions. I call them reflection questions that will best serve us to advance in this level of awareness. The first question is, where in your life are you paddling upstream? Is it in your relationships? Is it in your job, in your money, in your health? Maybe it's time to turn that canoe around and go downstream. That sounds easy, but what it means is you've got to do some study. You've got to look at that area. You got to look at relationships. You got to look at self-love. You got to be a student of that which you seek. Be a student of paddling downstream. Be a student of paddling downstreams in self-love. Be a student of paddling downstreams with relationships. Be a student of how to be the most effective career using your gifts. Be a student of being abundant. Be a student of health. And then follow the path. Don't fight it. Follow the path. So if you don't want to paddle upstream or down upstream and you want to go downstream, then you've got to ask the question, what would surrender and trust look like for you? In order to go downstream instead of upstream, what would you have to give up? And what would you have to trust? Trust is an easy thing to gather because you've had events in your life happen where you've had to learn trust. And you have trusted and you have experienced things. So you go back to those and say, if I can trust here, well, I can trust over here. You sort of transfer that trust from one issue into another. And then you just surrender the old way, because if the old way is not working, why are you continuing it? The next question I would ask is, how can you embrace life's timing with gratitude? How can you look at what's happening and say, I'm grateful. I have time to prepare my consciousness in order to receive this. I have the time to become the vibrational match to that which I would like in my life. I want you to know one of the things I'm grateful for is life gave me time to become a grandfather, because all the work I've done has brought me to this point where I can be the most incredible grandfather ever, and I'm loving and living that. I want you to know that life is not happening to you. It's happening for you. And it may not seem like it, but know that whatever challenge you're facing, this too shall pass. Because every challenge you've got is to awaken you to your true and infinite nature, not your ego nature. Your ego nature just always wants to be right, always wants to be better, always is in judgment. And if you're seeking a life with those things as your basis, it's not going to be a happy one for you. It's better to be aware. It's better to flow with life and let life unfold through you. Remember, only you can determine whether you will experience life as a victim or a conscious creator. No one can do it for you. You have the power. And today is a great day to start to change and use that power to create a more expansive, perfectly unique you. If you enjoyed this message, and you'd like to plug in with Agape, go to agapespiritualcenter.com. Click on the calendar or the events tab and find all the ways you can plug in. My God, I put a YouTube video out every single day, about 5 minutes every day. I do a talk like this once a week, about 20 minutes, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. I don't like to make them too long. I don't think there's a need for that. Also, plug in with our community. There's so many online venues that you can plug in with us. We have classes online. We have gatherings online. We have meditations daily online. All of that is available to you. And while you're there on the Agape website, make a donation. Your donation helps us bring this gift to the world. And if you become a member, donate. Give to where you're fed. That's the art of giving and receiving. If you're being fed, return the energy by giving. With that, I want you to know we at Agape are here for you. Let us know how we might be a better service. With that, it's a great day to be alive. You and I, individually,